Hey everybody, welcome to Cinema Heroes. I'm your host, Jay Stu.
And I'm Alex Thomas.
And today we are reviewing Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I got my 8-film collection here, Alex, with the Blu-ray and the 4K Steelbook. Nice. I like that Steelbook.
I love the Steelbook. The back art, you got Harry
that
in the Chamber of Secrets.
Yeah,
After the Steelbook collection, you can see it right in the corner of my screen. Right there.
Nice. Oh man, but yeah, man, this when did this come out? What year did this come out?
2002.
2002.
Yes, sir.
Released in 2002, directed by Chris Columbus, written by J.K. Rowling and Steve Kloves, and starring Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, Emma Watson, Richard Griffiths, Fiona Shaw, Harry Melling, Toby Jones, Tom Felton, Jason Isaacs, Tom Knight, Heather Bleasdale, Isabella Columbus, and a bunch of other people. But I'm not gonna name the whole cast.
Forgot to mention Alan Rickman, the GOAT himself.
Oh yeah, Alan Rickman. I'm reading it off IMDb, and he's
Alan Rickman
he's all the way
at
the bottom. Yeah.
Oh my
so
Lord,
Alan Rickman and Kenneth Branagh, and they all at the bottom for some reason. Maggie Smith, Richard Harris.
Wow.
All the important people are at the bottom.
Wow. That's hilarious.
It's crazy. But I was, we've started our Harry Potter review series. Justin and John did Sorcerer's Stone some years back, and I had the idea of continuing that, but just doing it straight through because it takes us a millennia to get through a
series.
franchise, to get through a series. So I was like, there are 8 of these movies. You've done 1. We got 7 left. So let's just blow through these during the holiday season, during the fall season.
Yeah.
That way we could just get it over and be done with it. Also, when I get into a Harry Potter mode, I want to watch the whole franchise. I don't want to just watch the whole just one movie. I want to watch all of them. So
exactly.
Yes, I'm being very indulgent when it comes to this when it comes to this series. But Alex, how about you go first? When did you first see this? Did you see this in the theater?
So no. The only Harry Potter movie only 2 Harry Potter movies I saw in the theater was Order of the Phoenix and Deathly Hallows Part 2. I didn't see any other ones in the theater. My mom wasn't mobile. She didn't drive or anything, so we couldn't get to the theater. I think the only reason why we went to see Order of the Phoenix because it was during the summertime. And I think most of these movies came out in the fall, either the fall or the winter time. Right. So I think this one came out in November. The first one came out in December, I think, November, December. And, Prisoner, I can't lie, because Prisoner Azkaban came out in the summer, so I guess I could have went to see that if I could have made a way to get there. But I didn't see this in the theater, and I saw this actually on VHS. And I saw it when we used to go a home daycare, and she had a copy of it, and man, I was just so excited that she had Harry Potter and Chamber of Secrets on VHS tape that we literally had it on repeat. We didn't care what any of our siblings said. We said, we're watching this on repeat. We don't care. We have to keep rewinding the tape, going back. We have to keep watching this movie because, we don't own it. We only have to watch it here. So that's when I first saw it. And of course I fell in love because I love the first movie. Like I said, I remember when I saw the first movie, I was same instant when I was over at my uncle's house. And he got it for pay-per-view. Remember pay-per-view when you only had to order for a day and you can watch it all day? Kids don't remember that. But we literally watched that on straight on demand. No, you had to call into the cable service to say you want this movie. And that's how you wanted to watch a movie if it was on pay-per-view. And man, that's why watching this movie giving me so much memories because of all those times. I can't even tell you how many times I've seen this movie. I can recite every single line, every single music cue. I'm the person where I don't even have to look at the screen. All I have to do is hear the music or hear the dialogue, and I know exactly what's happening on the screen. And it's like that with the whole series. With the whole series, I can literally, I'm in my head looking at the screen, saying the lines already in my head. So, yeah, I love the Harry Potter franchise. I people ask me like, which one do you like better, Star Wars or Harry Potter? Like, real talk, it's Harry Potter. Harry Potter was my first love.
I was gonna say that's a tough question, but I guess not.
Yeah, it's not. Harry Potter was my first love. It was. Then Star Wars came next. It did. Because I saw the Harry Potter movies before I saw the Star Wars movies.
Okay, so, I didn't know that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I saw the first 2 Harry Potter movies, and then I got into Star Wars like around 2000, around the same time, around 2002, 2003. That's when I started getting into Star Wars. So
okay, cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, Harry Potter to me is always going to be the top for me when it comes to these epic, franchises. So, yeah.
Nice. I mean, you already know. The first time I saw it was with you.
Right. I had to get you into the franchise.
Yeah, you are responsible for my love of Harry Potter now, because I didn't watch it when I was a kid. My mom wouldn't allow me to watch it because it was like witchcraft or whatever. But then after you showed it to me, I showed it to her. She's like, oh, that ain't so bad. I was like, I know.
Yeah, it's so funny because I remember being in school, and when they mentioned that we were watching Harry Potter, there was a certain group of kids that couldn't watch it, and I would get mad because I'm like, you guys are missing out on an experience. You guys are missing out on watching these movies because of, like, I know it's off for religious reasons most likely too, but you have to think in your mind that this is fiction. It's fiction. It's a movie. Like, so why should that depict on what you should be able to watch? Like, I just never understood that as a kid. I would get mad at my friends' parents. Like, why are they not allowing you guys to watch these movies? Like, what the heck? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, I definitely missed out. I'm glad you introduced me to these movies because I like all of them, some more than others. This one is one of my favorites. I love Chamber of Secrets. I really love the second half of Chamber of Secrets specifically. I really like the second and third acts. It's a like, these movies have a sense of magic to them that I can't really explain. Even though I didn't like these movies came out when I was a kid, but I didn't grow up watching them. I still get that sense of nostalgia watching these movies, even though I had seen them for the first time as an adult. It's just a magical, fantastical like sense to it. It's like the Harry Potter movies, at least the first few, are feel good movies. Like you it's impossible to watch these movies and not feel
and not
good.
Smile.
Yeah,
like
that's the reason I wanted to do them during the fall season, because when I watch these movies, I immediately get in that fall mode. Like when I hear the music from the first movie, I immediately think of Christmas.
Yes. Yeah.
So it like these movies do a very good job of establishing that magical feeling.
Yeah, it's funny because most adults say they don't like the first 2 because they feel more childlike. And even the books feel like that too. Obviously, they're the smallest of all the other books, and I think the approach was, since they are young kids in these, like, at least these first 2, and they're growing into young adult age. Like, I think that's why they feel this way. Also, it's Chris Columbus directed these movies, and he has that type of feel when he directed his movies. I like to try to compare these 2 movies to like Home Alone 2. They kind of like intertwine one another. And he just has a sense of, like, you could definitely tell he loves working with children when it comes to acting, like, or when working with children when it comes to directing, because he just knows how to direct these kids. And in this second movie, they for one, they know their characters a lot better. They're much better actors than they are in the first movie.
Yeah, I agree.
And this is only their second go around. Like, watching this movie, you can just tell
with them. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and confident. Like Daniel Radcliffe is going up against these adult actors in scenes, and
like legendary actors, not just anybody. He going up against Richard Harris and Alan Rickman and Maggie Smith,
Jason Isaacs.
Jason Isaacs, like just juggernauts in the acting game, like. And he's holding his own. Like they give fantastic performances in all of these movies, but to see the leap in not only the quality, but like you said, their confidence going into the second movie is nice to see. You know, we in the second year of Harry being at Hogwarts. The movie opens up with him, you know, being at the Dursleys, and like what bothers me is that he keep going back to this horrible family. I would have ran away, dog.
He really has no choice though. He has no choice, because it's weird, because you're right, he should not go back, because they don't want him to go back to this wizarding school. They literally put bars on his window so he can't get out of his room.
That's the crazy part about it. They don't want him to. They don't want him to live with them, but they don't want him to go to Hogwarts either.
It's like, you guys get a whole year without seeing this guy.
And leave.
Right. Yeah, the Dursleys are like the worst characters in film history for sure. And like I kind of love what happens to them in this movie, especially when it comes to Vernon Dursley. He gets like dragged out of the window and like just falls out of the window. It's hilarious. But I kind of love, I touched on this in my review, or you probably know as well. I love that this movie takes a more darker tone than the first movie. Like immediately, Dobby shows up, a house elf that we don't know who the house elf is till the end of the movie, but he shows up to Harry's room and say, no, you can't go back to Hogwarts because terrible things are about to happen. And to hear that right when the movie opens, it's like, oh, what am I in store for? What is going to happen? Why don't he want Harry to go back to Hogwarts when that's the one place he wants to go? Because that's where he feels the most safe. And I love that tone.
He's constantly saying to Dobby, he's constantly saying to Dobby that I don't belong here. I belong at Hogwarts with other magical people. And since we talk about Dobby was stressing me out, bro. Like that whole scene, he's trying to get him to stay and like sabotage everything so he can't go to Hogwarts. That it was making me so anxious watching that opening scene.
In the book, because you see that they talk, Dobby says that, oh, you know, your friends never wrote to you, right? And in the book, they go more in that, where Harry notices he's not getting letters. And we obviously find out Dobby is the one taking the letters. And he shows letters in the movie, but in the book, it get more into that. He's wondering why his friends haven't contacted him and stuff like that. And I think Dobby's doing a lot more in the opening of the book to sabotage him for not going back to school.
Yeah, that makes sense because they address it as if it was already established. Because I never read the book, so I didn't know that they went deeper in that into the book. So that makes sense.
Yep. But yeah, like I said, I love the dark tone. Like even when it comes to like, when he goes back to school, like all these terrible things are happening. People are getting petrified. Like, you know, they get more deep into like the bloodlines and like mudbloods and pure bloods and half bloods. Like it's a lot more prejudice than most people think. Yeah, like I love that you know they did more with that. You know, because it's crazy to think that a pure blood hates a mudblood because they're not from, you know, magical kind, like they're born from muggles, you know.
Right. And one thing I noticed in this movie and the last movie, because I watched Sorcerer's Stone the night before last, and then I watched Chamber of Secrets last night. And one thing I noticed is that Malfoy he's not really doing nothing to Harry.
Yeah.
He just really don't like him for no reason.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like right when they first meet, they're already established. Okay, you're my enemy. All right off the bat, it's like it's funny because Malfoy tries to be friendly with him. Like he tries to be friendly, but at the same time, he insulted somebody that is now became his friend. It's like, okay, you're insulting. No, I don't like your demeanor. I'm gonna pick who friends I want to hang out with. And Malfoy took it and okay, now that means you don't like me. Now I don't like you. And now the whole feud starts without all the entire movies. And I kind of love they go deeper in with this movie too. When him getting on the Quidditch team now, so now he has to face him in Quidditch.
Being a new seeker for Slytherin,
yeah. And they have like a dueling match, which it was awesome. Like, oh man, I loved all that stuff. Like I said, I just love that we got to be with these characters and just dive more into their backgrounds. Like we learn a lot more about Hermione in this movie than we did in the last movie. Like I said, we find out that she is a mudblood and stuff like that. Because I don't think we touched on that. We get to meet
the Weasleys as well.
Right. Yes, we get. Yeah, and I love that. I love that we got to sit down and see how a magical family lives. Like when Harry first gets to their house and he's seeing all the stuff moving by themselves, and pictures are moving on the wall, and he's just he's so amazed about everything, and Ron's just like, it's not much, but it's home, and he's like, it's brilliant. Like, because I'm not used to any of this stuff,
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I can say I love about Daniel Radcliffe's performance, that he just sells being amazed in every single movie. Like, in this one is that scene where he sees, Ron's house. And the third movie is when he sees the hippogriff. The fourth movie is when he sees, like, when he goes into the tent and it's small, but he walks in and it's just huge inside the tent.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like I just like I said, I got to give credit to Daniel Radcliffe, and I'm like, I know I'm probably not gonna really talk about this, but for the show that they're gonna make, I feel so bad for the actors that they're gonna cast, because you guys got a big shoes to fill.
He got big shoes to fill. Yep.
Yeah, especially the person who plays Harry Potter, because Daniel Radcliffe himself has came out and said, like, he knew he had a burden on his shoulder. He knew it. Just by how much people love the Harry Potter character. And he knew automatically, like, man, I got a big shoes to fill. And thank God, to me, like, I can't see no one else play this character, like, at all.
But the thing is, like, because he knew what he was getting himself into, I think that's what made his performance so special. I say this all the time on the podcast, but he really understood the assignment from the jump. As a kid, he understood the assignment, and he went into the role having respect for the role. As a child, he had such respect for the role and knew what he was getting himself into, and I really think that enhanced his performance and made it a little bit easier on him to be Harry Potter.
Yeah. And same as go with the other characters as well, like Emma Watson as Hermione Granger. She also came out and said she goes back and look at her performances, and she went back and looked at her first performance from the first movie, and she did not like it. So that's why she kind of she gets obviously in each movie she gets better.
She dialed it back for this movie.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
she was definitely on one in that first movie.
Man. And it's weird because, like I said, people have came out and said that she knew everyone's lines on set. So if you catch her in the background, you can see her mouthing the other people's lines, like, just because she was so on it about this.
If you watch certain episodes of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Will Smith does that in like the first 2 seasons.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, that's dedication. That's dedication to read everybody's lines. Like, that's dedication, dude.
Yeah, I mean, that also comes from a place of fear. You don't want to mess anything up, so you kind of overcompensate and learn too much. When you don't have to learn everybody's lines. You just need to know yours, and because the thing about it, like they always say, half of acting is reacting. You just got to know how to react. Right. You don't have to know what the other person is gonna say or how they're gonna say it. You just have to know how to react to whatever they're gonna say, because the person you acted with could change the line, and you've learned the whole script, and they change the line just to see how you're gonna react. That's gonna mess you up. So you know.
Another thing about this, just to the story, like I said, when they go back to Hogwarts now, a big thing is that the Chamber Secrets has been opened, hence the title, and kids are out here getting petrified. Even Filch's cat gets petrified, and there's a big mystery of who opened the Chamber of Secrets, who's the heir of Slytherin, and I kind of love that. I think that's probably why you like the second half of the movie, because it becomes a mystery, it becomes like a who done it type thing where they gotta figure out who did what. They're trying to figure out if Malfoy is the heir of Slytherin at some point, and I love all this stuff, man. I just think it's just so fun, to be with these three kids that are trying to figure out this mystery for Hogwarts. Like, it's just crazy that, as I noticed, it happens in a later movie, but even someone like McGonagall came on and said, why is it always you three are doing all this stuff? Yeah, it's always you three that's doing all this.
I thought about that too, like, because what made me think about it was Filch. Filch always finds the three of them, or mainly Harry, right after something terrible happens. And it's like, man, Harry can't get a break, man.
That happens in this movie too. Like, literally, he finds someone that's petrified, and Filch runs up like, "Oh, you're done now, Potter. You're getting out of here now."
He's like, "Bro, I just walked up here."
Yeah. And he was trying to stop. Like, no, wait, no, wait. But yeah, like I love that too, though. Like, I love that Harry kind of has a target on his back throughout his entire movie. Because at a point, they even think he's the heir of Slytherin, because now we find out he has some abilities that he didn't know. He finds out he can talk to snakes.
He can speak Parseltongue, which I love that they did. They set that up in the first movie, and I love that. I'm a big fan of Chekhov's gun, and I love when they do that correctly and do it like the right way. Like, everything means something. It may not pay off in this movie, but it's definitely gonna pay off later down the road, and it's gonna be satisfying. And I love that they alluded to that in the first movie to have it pay off in this movie. I love it.
Yeah, and in the first movie, he's talking like he's speaking in English. Like, you think you don't know that he's saying
he hears it as English.
The snake sound. Right. And so when we find out that it's not that, and he comes down and say, I thought you heard what I said. And he's like, no, you were speaking a different language. He's like, wait, what? I was speaking a different language. He didn't even know. Yeah, and I loved all of that stuff, man.
Even when he's like walking in the halls of Hogwarts and he hears
he hears the basilisk.
Yeah, he's like, y'all don't hear
speaking.
that?
Yeah. That's why I love that this film took that type of turn. I did want to ask you this question, because I want to know if you picked this up on. How did you feel about the Dutch angles in this movie? As many times as they go Dutch every single time, like they do like the sideways camera angle in this movie. How did you feel about that?
I didn't notice it much because I was so engrossed in the story. Like I said, I love this movie, so I didn't really notice it that much. I noticed it a few times, but I guess since you asked me that question, they do it a lot more than I realized.
Yes, yeah.
There was one movie that we were watching. I think me and Tyler were watching or something. No, it was me and AJ. Me and AJ were watching Thor.
Okay.
And Thor has a lot of
Thor definitely does that. Yeah, Thor definitely
Dutch
does
angles.
that.
And for no reason, I'm like, why are there so many Dutch angles in this movie?
Yeah.
But that's why I didn't notice it in this movie, because this story is so interesting. And that's not a knock on Thor, but like, I was just so engrossed with what was happening on screen that I didn't even notice it.
Yeah, when I first saw the movie when I was younger, I definitely noticed it, because the first movie never did anything like that. And I thought it was more like I said, more of that darker tone, or more like this story is taking Harry on a different angle with everything. Of course, when he finds out who actually is the heir of Slytherin, and all those things that is when everything wraps up at the end. That's why I figured they were going in that type of way, because I definitely picked up on like, oh, maybe that's just a camera technique that Chris Columbus wanted to try or something at that point. But I mean, maybe there's a point of it too. Because I feel like it's only happening when like he's encountering somebody. Because like when he's talking to Lucius Malfoy, it's like that, and then at the end of the movie when he's talking to Tom Riddle, it's in that angle throughout the entire, basically almost throughout the entire scene. And like maybe it's because he's in that getting into that darker mode. Yeah, right now I'm on the scene right now where McGonagall is explaining the Heir of Slytherin and the lore of the Chamber of Secrets, and hearing all that stuff is just hearing the lore and understanding that this school has a history. Like the founders of Hogwarts, a dark history. A very dark history, and the fact that Salazar Slytherin literally wanted to eliminate mudbloods. He didn't even want them at the school. It's insane. Crazy. Like that's crazy. It's crazy to think that. And I've always been a confidant of. I don't understand why they're redoing the Harry Potter story. I've always been a very person that's like, I want to see that. I want to see the founders of Hogwarts. Where is that movie at? Where is the X-Men First Class for the Harry Potter? Yeah, I would much rather have a proper prequel, because I don't like Fantastic Beasts. Yeah, Fantastic Beasts was not a good prequel. No,
I would much rather have a Hogwarts centered movie about, like you said, the foundation of the school, rather than a readaptation. Because I think the only thing Harry Potter fans really kind of want is the cursed child, and I don't think they're gonna do that.
I don't think a lot of people. I don't think we really want the cursed child. If we do the cursed child, I want them to rewrite the whole thing. Because I'm not even gonna lie, the cursed child it wasn't that good. It wasn't.
Well, no, what I mean by one is like if you're going to revisit the franchise, bring back the original 3 and do the cursed child. Yeah, because
basically rises. Do Force Awakens basically.
Like nobody wants this readaptation. Nobody wants this.
No. And I'm a big advocate. I don't want it, man.
I'm calling it right now. They're gonna make the Weasleys black. It's gonna happen. They always make redheads black.
I'm not. I won't be upset, because it's gonna bound to happen. They're gonna change a lot of stuff with this story. To me, I don't think ethnicity really doesn't matter, as long as they are the essence of the character. We've always been a testament.
No, I agree. I don't care if they change the race, matter,
as long as they still feel like the characters.
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't matter, but Hollywood has a history of making redheads black for whatever reason.
Yeah. I just love that this movie basically goes deeper into the Wizarding world and for Hogwarts, and like even certain characters, like we find out about Hagrid's past, or what we thought his past was, but it really wasn't. Like Tom Riddle kind of fooled us with that.
He was framed.
Harry goes into the book. Yeah, he was framed, right? I love that we get more into that. See, that's why I love to see. Like, I love to see like the history of the Wizarding world in Hogwarts. That's why I say you need to play Hogwarts Legacy, because you get a lot more of that. Because that game takes place in like the 1800s, so it's like almost 100 years before the events of Harry Potter. So it still feels like Harry Potter, even though the time is very far ahead, because that's the one thing I love about these movies too, is you can't tell me when this movie takes place. Can you guess when the year is? Do you know exactly what the years are set in? Because they said when it's the 90s, yeah. So it's 91 all the way to 98. So I tell everybody, think about Michael Jordan's run to the playoffs or to the finals. That was the Harry Potter universe. That's the one thing also I love about these movies too. These movies feel timeless because you can't really set it. It's not set. It don't feel like it's set in a time. Like you could say this is set today if you wanted to. Obviously, there's no cell phones and stuff like that. They feel like they're made for the time they were made, but you can still watch them today and feel like they were still made today. The one thing I also love to talk about, they improved on the CGI. The CGI definitely improved.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that. The CGI in the first movie, at the time it was okay, looking at it now, it's not good.
So good.
But they massively improved in this movie.
Yeah, I'm watching the Quidditch scene right now, and that's the one scene most people talk about when it comes to how bad the CGI is the Quidditch match, because it feels like you're just watching a video game. I think the reason why it's like that because they did most of those special effects last. Like they did those special effects very late in the production. So that's why it feels like that. Also, like you said, special effects were still being touched on. Like we just had the Matrix a couple years back, so they're trying to still figure out things. But they definitely improved heavily in this movie. I always think about the Quidditch match specifically because even like the background looks better. The people flying around, all looks better. And they actually show the characters actually flying on the brooms look better too.
So watching this for the first time, if you can remember, who like did you read the book before you saw this movie? Did you see the movie before you saw the book?
So I saw the first movie before I read the book. After I saw the first movie, I read the first two books before Chamber of Secrets came out. So I read Sorcerer Stone, then I read Chamber of Secrets before this came out.
So you already knew who the heir of Slytherin was.
Yeah, I already knew everything about it while going into it. Yeah, so I knew that Tom Riddle was, Voldemort was the heir of Slytherin. Going into it, I knew Ginny Weasley did it. I knew all the stuff that was revealed. I knew all of it. But just seeing it in live action and seeing it in, like, that's why I kind of love these first two movies, because they really go almost beat by beat. There's little things taken out, but these first two movies literally go beat by beat the way the book goes. So reading it and then seeing it on screen, for me, it was like seeing it for the first time, even though I've already read it, because they did it, to me, they did such a great job with the adaptation. When it comes to all the different characters, like I said, the visuals, like I do believe that when it comes to depicting a world, this nails it. It does. And like I said, we got to pat, regardless of how you guys feel about J.K. Rowling, like regardless of how she feels about her agendas or whatever, she did an amazing job with this world. She created a world that is so rich and so magical,
so dense,
no pun intended. And it's so dense that the littlest thing, like I'm on the scene right now where Harry is inside the hospital wing and they literally have a drink to heal bones. Like they literally have a drink that Harry has to drink to heal his arm because he has no bones. Like little things like that is so, like, makes the world so dense, and it's incredible. Like it's incredible to think that one lady, and I love the story that she was literally on a train with no money and with her kid, and she thought about this story. She thought about this little boy that was in this situation, that knew he shouldn't have been in this situation, and then magically he's a wizard. Like it's just insane, and then it became a whole big thing, like shit, she can count her dollars and keep counting them to the day she died. Like but yeah, I like I said, that's like I said, regardless of how you guys feel about JK, I would love to meet her. Like I'm sorry, I don't care. Because her thoughts are her thoughts. Like it is what it is. But I would love to meet her and talk to her about this. Like this is so interesting that she created this world and other people are taking her story and doing other things with it. Like I said, I really hope that she does have some influence on Hogwarts itself, like the game, the Hogwarts Legacy game, because it feels like that game is so enriched and so deep in the lore when it comes to the actual castle and stuff like that. Like, I really hope that she has some that the people there actually talk to her about that, or at least talk to her about making the game. But I know there's so many different books and stuff they can get from other people writing, encyclopedias and stuff like that too. Like I know she's not doing all that. Most other people are doing that.
Right. That's one of my favorite things about this entire franchise is just how dense the world is and how detailed and well thought out the world building is. That's one of my favorite things about movies in general, especially franchises like this. Star Wars, Dune. I love good world building because it just creates for a more immersive experience. You know, the fantasy movies are about escapism, and when the world is so well thought out like this, it just makes that, you know, that escapist mindset a little bit easier. But I agree with everything you said. She did a fantastic job with building this world, and Chris Columbus, he just did a wonderful job realizing that to the screen. Like I said, the first movie is good, but I really think this movie is like significantly better than the first movie. Because it takes everything that's good about the first movie and makes it better. Like they clearly threw more money at the movie, and they used it to the best of the best they could. You know, it looks better, it feels more immersive. The characters, the actors, like we said before, are more confident in their roles, and it's just it's an awesome story too, because to me it's a much better mystery than the first one. Because the first one, you know, all these movies have a mystery aspect to them, but the first one was very, very, very lighthearted, and this one is too. But they definitely take a step further into the darkness with the history of Hogwarts and the heir of Slytherin and the basilisk. Is that's my favorite part of the movie. I love
the third act.
Love the third act, and I love the design of the basilisk. The basilisk looks freaking amazing. It's so scary.
I love the story. I love the story behind the basilisk itself. The fact that you can't look at it in its eyes or it will kill you. Like the fact that just looking at it will kill you, and if you don't directly see it, you get petrified. Like I loved all that stuff, man. The fact that obviously only the heir of Slytherin can control it. Like no one else can control the basilisk besides the heir of Slytherin. And I agree. I love the entire third act. Even before the third act starts, before they get to the Chamber of Secrets, when they confront Gilderoy Lockhart, which I do want to talk about in a minute. When they approach Gilderoy Lockhart, and he's trying to leave. Like they confront him like, oh, you know where the interest is. I mean, you can take care of the basilisk and we'll go ahead and chill. You go ahead and go save the girl. And he goes to his corridor and he's trying to leave. Like he's trying to say, no, I'm out of here. Cause I don't know how to do nothing.
Good.
And Harry and Ron confronts him, was like, no, we're going to figure out. Cause we know who actually got killed by the basilisk, which was Moaning Myrtle. And they go to the actual, which in the game, you can go to this bathroom and you can't go inside the Chamber of Secret House, but there's like you can wave the wand and like a field guide page will show up. It's like a little thing that give you a history of what it is, and it says something about the snake on the fountain, which is awesome. It's near the Slytherin common room as well, which makes sense.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, but I just love all this stuff. Then getting into the Chamber of Secrets, and Gilderoy Lockhart tries to like one up on them, and he gets backfired with the the Obliviate spell.
Yeah,
and Ron knocks him out with a damn rock.
Gilderoy Lockhart, man. I love Kenneth Branagh in this movie, but Gilderoy Lockhart is such a fraud. He's such a fraud. He's only in it for the fame. yeah. And
it's another instance where I feel like watching his performance, he did a great job because he felt like him from the book. He felt like him off the page. He did a spectacular job as this character. I don't know, maybe about look, because the way they make him look in the game or in sound in the book, they make him sound like he's like Henry Cavill. But and I say Kenneth Branagh is not a good looking guy, but the way they describe him looks wise, they make him like he's like this larger than life character. I kind of like that, he kind of plays it off like that, like he is this larger than life character, but he doesn't know anything. He's been stealing from other wizards and their goals and their accomplishments to make himself a greater character. And like I said, I agree. I think Kenneth Branagh is hilarious and awesome in this movie at the same time.
The only thing I would have changed about this movie, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more Severus Snape, because the movie is so Slytherin centered. I would have loved to have seen a little bit more of him, but it's still a phenomenal movie regardless.
Yeah, it's weird because Snape gets less and less in this one, the third one, the fourth one, not the fifth one, I guess, because he kind of tried to teach Harry to control his memories or whatever, but he doesn't really become more prominent.
I feel like he's in the third one a little bit more than this one.
Is he?
Or maybe because he has a little bit more importance.
You might be right, because I forgot that third act. Well, not the third act. Come more of the into the second act. He's involved in that confrontation, right? So yeah, he has a little bit more to do in that one. Like I love Alan Rickman as Snape. Like I can't see anybody else as that character. Everybody keeps saying Adam Driver, but I'm sorry, you can't do Snape, bro. Like. And
I could see Adam Driver. I don't think he's gonna be as good as Alan Rickman, but I can see it though.
Right. Yeah, I can see it. Obviously, he has the hair. He kind of has the look. He does have the Snape look. I could definitely give him that. But the one thing I love about Alan Rickman's performance is that he knew from the start where his character was going. J.K. Rowling told him that your character is gonna end up from this point to this point. That's why you have to act the way you are. And he took it like that and ran with it, because you can see it. And now after watching the entire franchise, just watch his performance. He's doing that. He's acting a certain way, like towards Harry throughout this entire franchise, because of that one thing that she told him. And I love it. I just think Alan Rickman don't get his due. He's a phenomenal actor, especially in this. And it's funny, this was the first thing I saw him in. Then I saw Die Hard later. So I saw Die Hard after I saw the first Harry Potter movie. I was like, I said, that's Snape. That's the first thing I said. Oh, that's Snape. He just doesn't have the long hair and he has facial hair.
First thing I saw him in was Galaxy Quest. I love Galaxy Quest.
Yeah. He's a very great character actor for sure.
Oh yeah.
He's in that Robin Hood movie with Kevin Costner as well. And he's great in that movie too. Like I said, we're talking about performance. I think, like you said, everyone does a phenomenal job. Is it Richard Harris? Richard Harris passed away after doing this movie. He still does a great job, but you can definitely tell that he's trying his hardest to give a really great performance, because he was dying. Maggie Smith is always great as McGonagall. I think all the side characters do an amazing job. And it's crazy, like you said, these are juggernauts, especially in the UK world when it comes to acting. Like these are like top of the line actors.
I do want to talk about Jason Isaacs for a moment as
Lucius Malfoy, baby. Yes. And you gotta watch the interview, bro, with him, bro. He talks about he knew he had to be terrible because he watched the first movie. He's like, that little boy is so snotty. Yeah, he said Draco is a snotty little kid. That means his father has to be worse, so I have to be that. And he definitely is that.
He definitely is. He definitely, like, it's just looking at Lucius, like it like makes my skin crawl.
Yeah. You can definitely tell he's like I said, I know we can't really cuss, but he's definitely an a-hole as off the bat. Like you just definitely tell he has a certain agenda. He doesn't like certain people. Like I said, when you first meet Lucius, and he just talks down on the Weasley family, like they're just they're poor. He talks about that he associate with Muggles. Like he's like you said, you can definitely tell right off the bat that he's a terrible person. And he's not a good guy, for sure.
Not at all.
Jason Isaac does a great job as that character, for sure.
And and you see why Malfoy is the way he is because of Lucius. Like the whole, like, maybe not all of Slytherin, but like for the most part, they have a sense of entitlement.
Yes. Yeah.
Like they feel
like they're the dominant. They feel like they're the most dominant of all. You know, they feel like they have to be on top.
It is just that you get a slimy feeling from the Malfoys, but especially Lucius Malfoy, because with Lucius Malfoy or with Draco Malfoy, it feels like he's just being a brat. Right. With Lucius, like it feels like you can almost see the malice coming out of him. Like he's just evil for the sake of being evil.
Yeah. Man, the fact that he has a Snape cane. His cane has a snake on top of it. Yeah,
reminded me of Jafar.
Yeah. It's funny because at the end of the movie, he finds out that Dobby was his house elf, and in the beginning of the movie, he talks about how terrible his house is. He talks about how terrible his master is. He's like, oh my god, my master will kill me if he finds out I'm doing all this. And then when you find out it's Lucy, it's like, oh yeah, we know. You get destroyed at home. you're literally a slave. You know, all house elves mostly are slaves, but you're really a slave. Like you
really a slave.
Like he literally just hits Dobby, just kicks him down the stairs.
Kicks him,
yo. I remember when I first saw it, I laughed. I did laugh when I first saw that scene. But then we get obviously towards the end when Harry frees him, and it's a great scene when he frees him.
It is a good scene. So we find out about Tom Riddle, and we find out in this scene that Tom Riddle is actually Voldemort, and is also the heir to Slytherin, and he can control the basilisk. And basically, Voldemort is just like in the last movie. He's trying to come back in full power as a physical being, because in this movie he's just a memory, but he's trying to manifest himself to come back and finish the job. And that is one thing that I wasn't too crazy about. I didn't necessarily dislike it, but it felt like the third act, although like it's my favorite part of the movie, just like from an aesthetic standpoint. I love the battle with the basilisk. I love the reveal of Ginny being controlled. Like I like all of that, but the whole Voldemort thing felt a little bit like a rehash of the last movie.
I guess you could say it felt like you had to bring Voldemort into the story. Like you have to have him be the main bad guy, because that's who is the main baddie throughout all the movies. And I could see your point. And when I first saw it, I was confused, because I thought that especially at the time when we see him, I thought, oh, he's an actual person. Like I didn't think that he was like you said, a memory. I thought he was okay, he's a real person. Right. But then when he explained, like, no, I'm just, the way I look is because Ginny is basically, making me be a real person because of everything Ginny has done throughout the entire movie. And I agree. I do love all that stuff. We reveal that Ginny is the one. And it's funny, after watching the movie and seeing that Ginny was the one, you can see Ginny in the background looking a certain way. Like when McGonagall comes in and say, oh, we got to close the school, they show Ginny for a quick second looking like, oh my God, this is serious. And like I said, maybe she probably didn't understand because she was in a trance, but
but watching the first time, Ginny's the last person you expect to be doing that.
Yep. And I think that's why I like the fun of the mystery, because like when it's revealed that she's the one taken by the monster, when they say, oh my God, she's been taken by the monster, and we get to the Chamber of Secrets, and then Tom Riddle says, no, Ginny was the one that opened up the Chamber of Secrets. She's the one been doing all this stuff. It's like, oh, okay. But you're right, I do love all this stuff. I love the confrontation between Harry and Tom Riddle. Like Harry is literally going at him like, yo, like, it don't matter. Everything you've done is going to be done because we got a solution for everything. So, it doesn't really matter. But then when he sicks the basilisk on him, bro, man, seeing the basilisk for the first time. Oh, man. Oh my God. Yo, like I want this to be in Hogwarts Legacy so bad. I want to face this thing so bad. Oh, I love all this stuff, like the chase when The Phoenix comes in and blinds him, so now Harry can actually look at the basilisk. Eyes out.
Oh man,
yeah, like all that was awesome. And then now he only can hear him, so Harry has to be like really keen on his steps,
really quiet. Yeah.
And a lot of people complain about the scene where he gets caught he basically gets pinned by the basilisk and he throws the rock, and he follows that sound, but it's like, why didn't he just sniff and smell Harry was right there? Like, he could have just smelled Harry. But I was telling everybody, like, maybe it's just that there's a smell in the Chamber of Secrets that is, Harry's scent is cloak. Like, maybe that's probably why he followed the sound.
Yeah, I think people reading too much into it. It ain't about that. Agree. Tom Riddle said he can't see you, but he can still hear you. That's how he's tracking him. Just leave it at that.
Right.
I remember when I first saw the live action Aladdin, I wanted Jafar to turn into the giant snake like he does in the animated movie. But I wanted it to be like this scene,
like this. That would have been dope.
This was perfect. Like the look of the basilisk, the way it moved, like everything about it was perfect. And I wish we had gotten that in Aladdin.
That would have been dope. That would have been so fire.
Yeah, for sure.
But the one thing I love is that the Phoenix drops off a hat, and Tom Riddle's like, "Oh, that's what Dumbledore sends his great defender, a little hat." Okay. And then we find out the hat has something, right? The hat has something magical, and it's the sword of Godric Gryffindor. And Harry's the one that, can pull it out and use it because he's at that point, he's a true Gryffindor, which I do love. It comes back in the later movies, which is awesome. And he uses that thing to basically, stab it in its up its mouth. And yeah, this whole scene is awesome, man. I freaking loved all this, man. Like, I was a little kid, like jumping up and down. Like, this is freaking awesome, man. Oh my God. Like, and it's funny because they made a pop figure with Harry holding his sword, and of course it's out of stock. It goes for a lot of money on eBay and stuff. And I want this pop. Don't you
have a pop? Didn't they make a pop of the basilisk?
They did, and I didn't buy it.
Oh, I thought you had it.
I didn't buy it. I saw it though, and I think it's still available. I think it is still available. I don't think
if it's still available, I'm getting it.
I think it is. I think it is. And it comes in a white box. I don't know if you can see the one all the way at the top, like right there. I don't know. Probably the light is reflecting it, but it's. They changed the logo, so it's like an all white box. It's a nice little box too for it.
Okay. If it's still available, I'm definitely gonna get it because I love the basilisk. Yeah. The music. I mean, we can't talk about a Harry Potter movie and not talk about John Williams' fantastic score.
Williams was in his bag with these first three movies.
In his bag, bruh. This score is phenomenal. I listen, like I said it before. The Harry Potter score, like as a whole, that I'm telling you, man, that might be it. That might be it. I would rather listen to the Harry Potter score than the Star Wars score. That's just me.
I can agree with you on that one. I said there's something. I guess we've been using this term all day. Something magical about his music in these movies, and it's weird because, like I said, John Williams also did the Home Alone movies. He did those movies too.
You definitely get a sense of Home Alone, like during like the happy scenes. It definitely, definitely reminiscent
the music
of Home Alone.
It feels like that. It feels magical. It feels Christmassy, as we like to say, because Christmas does play a part in these movies too. But John Williams, man, like, if I had to say, like, I know we love Hans Zimmer, but John Williams is the GOAT. I don't care what
John
nobody
Williams
say.
Is the GOAT. I don't think there's a person alive that would disagree with you. I think I love Hans Zimmer. He's my favorite composer of all time. But if we talking objectively, John Williams is the Michael Jordan of film composers.
Yes, for sure. Hans Zimmer can be LeBron. John Williams is Michael Jordan for sure. As he was in his bag, and when you're in your bag when other composers know we gotta keep using the dun 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 dun. It's still being used. Even in Hogwarts Legacy, it's still there. And as a side quest, you can actually hit like some bells on the side of a building, and that jingle is the dun 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 dun. It's still there, bro. Like, man, John Williams was in his bag, and I'm very happy he was, because this score, like you said, it's incredible. Listen to the last track of Chamber of Secrets. Get on your broom on Hogwarts Legacy and fly. That's all I have to say. You want to feel like you're in the wizarding world of Harry Potter? Oh my God. Man, I had it on repeat, and I was flying from one edge of the map to the other side just so I can hear the whole entire music. Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, I literally watched the end credits of the movies so I can hear the music. Oh my God. Especially for the first two. Man, I love it.
As do I. Let's go ahead and get into ratings, man. I feel like we've touched on everything that deserves to be talked about. So let's go ahead and get into ratings.
You don't have any. That's what I'm saying. We feel like we haven't talked any negatives. You got any negatives? No negatives, I guess, huh? I really don't have any negatives. Maybe the length.
Oh yeah, the length. It's a long movie. The length
is pretty long. I think this is the longest one.
2 hours and 40 minutes. Yeah, it's the longest one. I think. Yeah.
I guess that probably my only complaint is the length, but they wanted to. I guess they wanted to tell as much story as they could, and especially like the first movie.
I understand that.
The first movie made a decent amount. Okay, they're like, okay, Chris, go ahead and do whatever you want. I guess
Yeah. And to be honest, like there's not a whole lot you could cut out. I think maybe you could cut out maybe about 5 to 7 minutes of the movie, but there's not a whole lot that you can really cut out without cutting out something important, because like you said, this movie is so lore rich, and you kind of need everything that you learn for later in the movie. You can't really cut too much out. So I get it, but there are certain times where you feel the length of the movie.
And don't watch the extended version, guys, because it's even longer. The extended version, there's an extended version of the first two at least. On my 4K set, I can watch them on the Blu-ray, and it's pretty long. I enjoy watching it, but it is long.
Yeah, I have yet to watch the extended version. I'll watch it. I'll watch it one day. Not today.
I recommend it because they do go a lot deeper with certain scenes. Like there's a scene with Lucius and Malfoy when Harry goes to Nocturne Alley in the store he's in. They show up and Harry has to hide. And this is also in the book too. And then there's another scene. Like I said, I feel like that shouldn't have been cut out, but I guess the reveal of Lucius confronting the Malfoys was a decent reveal. But this is the first time we actually see him in the extended version. What else? There's another scene that's kind of important. There's a scene where like Harry is like being tormented by the twins, and he's like really like upset about like, man, maybe they're right. Maybe I am a terrible person. Maybe I am the heir. So Ron and Hermione is telling them like, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna figure it out. Like, I feel like scenes like that shouldn't really be cut out because it's more character scenes, but you got to cut certain things out.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly why they cut them out, because they're character scenes and not plot scenes. But no, I agree with you. So what would you rate this movie, man?
I have to rate it a 4.5 basilisks. Can't give it a full 5 because of the length. It is pretty long. Like I said, there are those moments. Even though I love this movie, there are certain moments where, like, if you're watching this late at night, you're gonna be dozing off for sure.
I definitely was dozing off. As much as I love the movie, I was feeling it, bro.
Yeah, I was feeling it last night too, because I was watching. Like, I might have to finish this the next day because I am tired. But yeah, I'd probably give it a 4.5 out of 5 basilisks.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. 4.5 basilisks out of 5. It's It's not perfect. It's like you said, just the only negative things is the length. For me, maybe that one, the whole Voldemort thing in the third act, because it felt like a little bit of a rehash of the first movie, and a little bit more Snape. I would have preferred a little bit more Snape, but other than that, it's phenomenal across the board. So yeah, 4.5 out of 5 basilisks for us. Well, we'd love to know what you think of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. You can let us know at cinemaheroes.com. You can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Cinema Heroes. Both handles are at Cinema Heroes. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can leave a comment and let us know what you think, and subscribe if you like the podcast so far. You know, we're going to be doing more Harry Potter reviews for the next 6 weeks, so be on the lookout for that. But that about wraps it up for this episode of Cinema Heroes. I'm Jay Stu.
I'm Alex Thomas.
And as always, thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing.